Welcome Emperors. Today in this video I am going to explain that what makes Vinland Saga Season 2 so different from the first season. And before I start to present my opinion, remember that I won't be saying anything unusual or unnecessary thing in this video, like Season 2 doesn't have any action scenes or takes place in a farm. The message Vinland Saga Season 2 wants to convey is not what you think. After the death of 𝐒𝐚𝐬𝐧𝐷 in the last episode of Season 1, the biggest question was that what is 𝐸𝐸𝐴n supposed to do now, because what was supposed to be the main goal of the story is now no more in existence. And answering that question is what Vinland Saga Season 2 does. And that is what I aim in this video as well. To make you understand the values of Vinland Saga Season 2 and why it hits me so differently. The Season 2 starts with the introduction of Einar, the guy who is going to play a very important role in transforming 𝐸𝐸𝐴n's life at Ketil's farm. When we saw the Season 2 𝐸𝐸𝐴n for the first time, he was completely exhausted and unprofessionally dressed. Someone's look tells a lot about how their life is going. 𝐸𝐸𝐴n's face looked like he is just tired and wants to sleep to death. This shows how much mental damage he has taken after the death of 𝐸𝐴n𝐬𝐧𝐷. He spent his whole life wanting to kill 𝐸𝐴n𝐬𝐧 only to see him getting killed in front of him. Here you will notice one thing, that the same thing happened with Einar. After his village was attacked, he spent so much time creating it from scratch only to be raided by the warriors again. And here we get to our first point. Both of them kept working hard so much only to see their ambitions fail. In this way, Vinland Saga shows us that you are never the only one who is suffering. They show us multiple people who have faced the same situation as 𝐸𝐸𝐴n. There are more like you who feel exactly the same way you do. Take an example of Olmar. He wants to go to war just because he doesn't know what are the true consequences of war. It gives us a reflection of young 𝐸𝐸𝐴n who kept running behind 𝐸𝐴n𝐬𝐧𝐷 without knowing how much he is disappointing his father. 𝐾𝐢𝐭𝐬 mentioned that he sold 𝐸𝐸𝐴n as a slave. The statement reminded us of the time when we saw Einar being taken away. We suddenly remembered that scene and realized that this is how 𝐸𝐸𝐴n would have felt when he was sold. 𝐸𝐸𝐴n is so depressed that he doesn't even care that what kind of food he is getting. He is just leaving things as they are. Why do you think he asked Einar to not retaliate for food? Because he knows that there is no point. This gives us a hint that when 𝐸𝐸𝐴n came here for the first time, this is what he also felt, and he did the same thing that Einar wants to. In this case, 𝐸𝐸𝐴n is just like Pattaya. He has experienced what Einar feels like. Gerda's death also tells us the same thing. After so much of struggle and revolt, she ended up seeing Gerda die in her hands. The second reason why Vinland Saga Season 2 hits differently is that in Season 1 what we saw was hatred, fight, blood, violence, battle crying, cold faces and betrayal. But in Season 2 we get a break from all that stuff and get to enjoy the beautiful green sceneries of Ketil's farm. The sense of relaxation helps us to explore the world out of the battlefield. That is a different thing, that even such beautiful sceneries doesn't fill you with joy with all the disturbing memories going. Although it's not a valid point to discuss, it is still something you should know. The third reason why Vinland Saga Season 2 hits differently is that it shows new level of brutality in new ways. Season 1 showed us brutality in the mentality of conquering, but Season 2 goes one level high. Brutality with children, unreasonable jealousy is what we witness in Season 2. Being a seinen manga, brutality is what we expect the most from it. And not just brutality, they also show us a mentality not many people know. When Snake was cutting 𝐸𝐸𝐴n, he was just standing there as he believed that he doesn't want to live. But dodging Snake's attack and punching the farmhands shows that he is either fooling himself or he doesn't remember about Vinland. In the end, no matter how much someone is depressed, every human wants to live. After 𝐸𝐴n𝐬𝐧𝐷 shows in the people he killed, he decides to reform himself. 𝐸𝐸𝐴n always knew that he wanted to restart his life. He just never realized. Knowing something and realizing it are two different things. The transition from hell to snow depicts the life change 𝐸𝐸𝐴n is going to have in future. Once, a guy who would bath in blood is now ready to take 100 punches to avoid any violence justifies the transition of hell to snow. The same thing happens when 𝐸𝐸𝐴n convinces 𝐾𝐢𝐭𝐬 to leave the farm. Basically the entire Season 2 was based on point of views and feeling the same emotion. We saw lots of moments when multiple people felt the same thing. In the last episode when 𝐸𝐸𝐴n gets ready to go to Vinland, we finally understand that the story is not 𝐸𝐸𝐴n's. It's actually the biography of how Vinland was created. This is what Saga in the Vinland Saga means. Saga means a long series of events. Basically the title actually tries to tell us that this is the story of how Vinland was created and who was the one behind it. I have always liked those animes which gives me a new point of view, and I can confirm that Vinland Saga Season 2 has definitely given me another way to see my life. With this last line I would like to end the video here.